Ayrton moves up, takes the lead under hands and heels. Curran late into second, but Ayrton, this is going to be easy. Ayrton comes clear, remains undefeated, and a fantastic 5 for Carr.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, a behind-the-curtain look at how pro punters operate, brought to you by puntingform.com.au and topsport.com.au. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm joined by the punter's punter, DK. He's back in the Little Birdie headquarters.
Back after needed a week to recover, Scooty. Normally that's the case if you go down to the ball, but she was a big few days in here, I tell you. So no, we're up and about, mate, but that was it was good. Great week. Good way to finish.
Nico Noonan was on course, and he was on course at Pakenham yesterday. He found 4 winners on top. He was on fire. But fresh back from the Bull. How are you, Nico?
It's been a long week. It's been a very long week. I'll be happy to see the back end of Saturday, that's for sure. But we got some great racing this weekend and Group 1 racing in 2 states, which is rare. So looking forward to it. Yeah,
it's cracking racing at the moment. It's my favourite time of the year. I love the back end of the Autumn Carnival. It kicks off really early in Melbourne, but it's got a really long tail and it just slides into the Brisbane Winter Carnival, and there's so many setup jobs there. And let's talk about the Bull. How was it being down there on course? The zones, you obviously gave you the shits a fair bit. Zone 1, Zone 2, the GA, it was like a pleb, you said it sometimes, but you managed to sneak your way into the members for the last day.
Yeah, day 3 we got in there, thanks to some help from some good country racing Victoria people. But Zone 2, the first 2 days, it wasn't a very pleasant experience at all. So it just felt like you were just sort of chucked there. The bookies ring, there was a bit of a ring. Juppy was there in Zone 2 and Warren Woodcock, but there was no sort of plan if it had rained. Like it was all outdoors.
No,
so
they were outside on the lawn.
They were pretty lucky that it didn't rain actually. So Zone 1 was definitely the place to be. That was the members, and that's where a lot of the people were. But Zone 2, you're just a bit shafted out there for sure.
What about the food offerings there? Nico, same, were they?
Zone 2 was no good early,
yeah.
But Zone 1 was definitely where the grouse was at. That's where the Kranskis, that's where the dumplings were as well, and the dimmies. So that was definitely a good finish there to day 3.
It was a funny couple of days the way the track played. A lot of people I've spoken to lost, especially on day 1 and 2. A few people clawed out, as we did for the Bulldozer for day 3, but it's probably the most leader-biased track, an un-bull-like track that I can remember in probably 10 years.
Well, I think everyone thought it was going to even out. Like that first day, like, it might even out day 2. Then it didn't. It might even out day 3. It probably did a little bit, but a lot of those races weren't running a lot of tempo day 3, and the leaders just had a picnic out in front. So, day 1 and day 2, like I said, I think everyone thought, there's going to be a race where it's going to turn here, and it just didn't. So, if you kind of clued onto that bias early and stuck with it, it probably would have been fat for you. But it's harder. It's easier said than done.
That's right.
In hindsight.
Like even the Tuesday normally's always been leaderish because it's first use of the track and all that. But with that rain and heavy night, you're thinking, this will chop out quicker than what it probably normally will. But can't believe it sort of the rail held up to about halfway through the third day, sort of thing, you know. So that threw a spanner in the works. But we did I thought we did a good job to get out of the mess, on the last 2 races, which is the two good races. Always get the result in the last was big. I was very, very pleased about that, Scooty, the Over the Sky Mark Zara double. So that was good.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then Saturday, lo and behold, you're always going to find winners. Walt bobbed up with a couple of winners. I think he had Enchanted Heart 440 into 290. It won like a good thing. Johnny Kelton comes out and finds one as well.
I think horror watch.
Biscayne Bay 550 into bugger all into $3 something.
Buried on the rails. Ollie it was all good. He rode for luck, and then got the split.
Johnny McLeod, Marbusha. My chat group was just just lighting up like a Christmas tree. Like, where are these horses when we're doing the stream on the those 3 days? So it's big about the support cards on these stream days. So it was Murphy's Law that we're going to have a good day on the punt on the Saturday. And
all we had to do a call for was just blast into Jamie Carr. That's all you had to do there. It was kept it pretty simple there. Just go your hardest.
Even I managed to stuff that up. The one race I did go after her, she had 6 rides, 5 winners. The one race I launched was horrifying. And that was horrifying. So no good there for me at all.
You heard it on the intro, Ayrton and Jamie Carr, obviously rode 5 winners. But what did we make of Ayrton's win? You like him?
Loved it.
Yep.
Loved it. That thing was smoking him. They thought, if we're going to get it beat, we'll smoke along and test its fitness first up. So Yulong Command or whatever the thing was, it was smoking along in front and making it work. And you'll have to chase the thing. Did it just cruise? Just cruise. Never got out of second gear.
Yeah.
In a pressure, they went in a pressure race first up. Supposed to be a little bit vulnerable, a little bit soft, Mick Price might have thought. The way it did it. And the second was how efficient's the market? Curran deep in the first prep and all this, and the market wanted to back it against, have something on it, and everyone's saying, why am I getting $1.80 $1.70 or whatever that the Ayrton got to us, because the models and things said Curran's going to go good here again.
Yeah,
and
he's
it
fine.
certainly did. So
I think he hit like $1.85
Yeah.
on Betfair, Ayrton.
Yeah.
So there was definitely sort of a push out. I think that was because of the yard, to be honest.
Was
he
it?
didn't parade. He paraded very similar to what he did on Boxing Day. He's a very sort of towy horse. He didn't sweat up or anything, but I think a lot of the yard watchers would have been against him there. I think going to Queensland, given none of them have seen him at all, I reckon there's a fair chance he'll drift late again next start if you're looking to back him.
All those yard watchers, all those boys up there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon
you're going to back him. Wait till late.
I
Get
think
a spoil.
they'll look to be against him if he parades like he did at Caulfield on Saturday. If he parades similar to that, they'll probably the big sort of teams that have the yard watchers. I think they'll probably be against him. So if you're looking to back him, I'd be waiting till late for sure.
He's a machine. That
He's
horse is a
he's
machine.
still 360 in the Stradbroke, which I couldn't really tip anyone into. That race is a long, long way away, and
Like he could start $4 on the day. Like he's got to win next start
He's
to
got to
even
win the
get
three
in.
days to get in. Yeah.
yeah,
So
he'd be hard
He's
to
got
beat.
to
him, though.
travel and all that, but yeah. Oh, he's a machine. I love what he did there. I don't see many horses do that.
and he's really filled out as well. Like you look at him from a tight point of view, sort of last preparation, you could sort of see that there was improvement there. Now he's really filled out in the shoulder and his hind quarter, which is like the two big things he probably had to do, especially in behind. So he's ticking all the right boxes for sure.
They can jump into the right horses, roll the dice, can't they?
Can't they find a horse? Profiteer. They've just had a golden run.
Yeah, and this one was different. This one's come from New Zealand, and the owner stayed in and wanted to, went through Mick Price. They said, well, roll the dice, get this crew involved. What do you think? And sure enough, good. Lee and Steve Travaglia and that, so good on them, mate.
Tell you what, there's a bit of pressure on when the first Little Birdie horse rolls around. They got to find us one like this.
have they? Well,
Eh?
absolutely.
Oh, it's another horse that was just explosive. Was with Jack winning the SA Derby. Where is the ceiling for this horse? Kieran Maher, it seems like a half a masterstroke here. He won the Sydney Derby, and then he's just gone off and picked the Adelaide one up.
Yeah.
This horse just blew him away. It proved a lot of us wrong.
I think the win was he won 3 derbies. 3, I think he won 3.
Yeah, he's on 3.
Won
He's won
3.
Tassie,
Oh, yeah, so
ATC,
Tassie as well.
and then
And
SA.
then SA.
Yeah.
The ATC is probably a bit of a was like Hawks picking up the 2008 flag. You sort of won it without expecting to. Just by the benefit of on the day he copped the pearl of a ride.
Yeah.
Jay Allen just was brilliant, and Kieran Maher says that it was a brilliant ride. Even the second horse, these Maher horses over 2,000 metres. Let's Crack a Deal went terrific, chasing
did
it home. But he great. Again, Jay Allen, I love him because especially I like back in middle distance horses and things like that. And he rode a winner for us there, leading up to the Bull and whatnot. He's a great momentum rider for staying type horses.
Yep.
Now he was happy to sit wide there the other day because he got the horse in a beautiful rhythm. Slow pace. It doesn't matter if there's
Well, I know he was on probably the best horse maybe in Australia at the time, Russian Camelot in the Derby last year. But he did the same thing. He just stayed wide, kept him out of trouble. Momentum horse. That's what he did on Explosive Jack. Interestingly, in play market there in the SA Derby because the caller kept calling it like it was
Wide,
wide, no cover, and it wasn't really.
Yeah.
And the bots were sort of reacting to that.
Well,
So if
it's
you
the-
were betting in play,
It's the bots and all those in-play punters listen to the radio because they think they are probably getting a split-second edge and things like that, and that's why there is a little polish there if the race callers go off on the wrong tangent.
I think he's a legitimate cup source off what he did there on Saturday.
I think he is too because especially with the new rules and everything making it a bit harder for the imports.
Well, it could be one of the first years that the cup could be weak in terms of international sort of horses coming over. So it could be the year for a horse like him, a 3-year-old turning 4 to really sort of dominate a few of those lead-up races for sure.
And Person ran 5th at Melbourne
Ran
Cup,
fifth,
didn't he?
yeah.
And I'm tipping he's got more scope and might end up a better horse than
Yeah,
him.
the only problem for mine from a Cup's point of view, if he went to Queensland and then say got beat, then you'd sort of reassess where he's at. But I think if you went straight to the paddock right now, he'd be my top seed for the Caulfield Cup at this
there you
stage.
go. Yeah.
Okay, what about minimum bet limits? They kicked in.
They did.
The new rules kicked in on Monday in Victoria.
Yeah.
What's I guess probably the best look at that is the early markets for Saturday and what happened yesterday. There's been a little bit of talk. Oh, and maybe Tuesday as well with the Pakenham meeting.
Yeah,
there's been a bit going on, hasn't there, DK?
Well, Pakenham, because it was sale originally, a lot of those prices just because the meeting gets abandoned and then all the prices went re up again. So a lot of people took like I think $3.50 or $3.80 reciprocation. He ended up going back up like $1.80. So a lot of the early bets they had, and they were finding
They
things
have to do that. I mean, if you're good clients, you can ring up and get your bet restarted, I suppose, and things like that.
Yeah.
It was more so the main. There was an issue around the Pakenham synthetic meeting on Thursday night with the TAB when they
Tuesday
first.
night.
they went up Tuesday night. It's 4 tonight. The TAB went up early, and it was the second time it's happened in a month. But I'm hoping it was the only thing that the trader never flicked the fixed odds button on or something, because you went to have a bet at the meeting, and it said proposition not available, and for an hour the prices just stood there, and they were turning them off and things like that, and you couldn't get a bet on, and no one could. And Ben Ascari and Horse Miller and James Jordan, and they couldn't get bets
Everyone's
on.
blowing up.
Oh, they couldn't get bets on Balaclava as well and things like that. So I'm just hoping it was a system issue, nothing sinister. So I just hope it doesn't happen again, because it wasn't a good look, especially in the first week of the NBLs. But apart from that, mate, it's business as usual. As someone said on Monday, was happy Bet 365 reactivation day, because a lot of people want to start. They were the ones to go up and not bet. Unlike TopSport and other ones who go up and you can have a bet straight away. So there was, I haven't had many bets this week yet. I haven't had any bets, really. I've been catching up on my database work because last week was so busy, but I'll be getting into it this weekend, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm sort of similar. I haven't really had any sort of early bets this week, but usually if I was going to bet early, it'd usually be sort of TopSport or Sportsbet, which is usually where I can get my sort of cash on. So, 365 maybe come back into play if they're going up early. Maybe that sort of opens up a few angles, but I was always kind of one that would wait until a few of the other mobs.
The important thing, someone said there might have been an extra 10% on top and all this, like that something happened in the trots and things like that. They did that when they did the NBLs, but they've still gone up.
Stuck to their guns.
They've stuck
same
to
percentages.
130. The percentages haven't changed, and because the big joints want to squeeze. I mean, it's just their scale, so they want to squeeze the smaller joints, and use part of their power is getting the price up quick and betting, and that's good PR for them and stuff like that. So I don't think a lot will change, but just everyone can get on. It's
hopefully it stimulates the market a bit. I think movement encourages other people to bet, and talking about the prices,
particularly for the weekend, for the Saturday meetings and things like that. For the prices to go up on a Wednesday, and for some people to be restricted till 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning was just ridiculous.
It's going to be a cracking show. We've got the Morphettville card over there. We've got the Group 1 at Goodwood, and we've got the RA Lee. We've got Beat the Bagman. He's back. He's very, very excited. And then Nico's going to run through. He's going to bookend Flemington again. Doesn't mind this little play. Lots of first, lots of last. And then Johnny Walter, he's back up in the Gold Coast. He's in his little sanctuary there. He's got the Scone Cup and the Dark Jewel. I think he's found a couple of roughies for us to play. We're brought to you by puntingform.com.au. Their 200-metre sectional splits are unreal. So you can use Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore. They are the best betting database.
Can't live without it in the post race in this day and age. I think someone said the other day, raw times tell you how fast they ran, but sectional times tell the story about the race, and you can't do form in this day and age without them.
Yeah, you learn all about what's happening. It's just trying to confirm what your eye sees, because your eye can sometimes lie. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to come back with Adelaide. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, a behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I've got DK here and Nico Noonan in studio, but it's time to talk Adelaide racing. Their autumn carnival is in overdrive, and we've got Beat the Bagman joining us. Johnny Kelton's warmed the chair for him, but our main man is back.
Yes, I'm back in the hot seat. Thank you to John Kelton. He's a good kid. I think he might make the grade one day.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. He's a black booker for sure. Now, it's been a cracking couple of weeks at Adelaide, and there'd be a little bit of a mini fill-up with Biscayne Bay last week for listeners of the show, but this week the action does not stop. We got the R.A. Lee Stakes as the first race that we're going to have a look at. There hasn't been much action, odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now, but it's Vacillator who's open up favourite, $3.50, Dr. Drill $4.40, Morvado $7, Lord Vladivostok $9, Magna Bella $9. Not much action there to report from TopSport, but the replay that we're going to get queued up here for you, Bagman, is the last start for Lord Vladivostok.
One of your old favourites, Bagman.
Yeah, we talk about this horse a lot. He's got some behavioural issues, but we'll queue up the replay now.
Yeah, this is the last start of Lord Vladivostok. The other interesting runner in this race is Hustler War there with the black cap running last. You watch it rattle home late. So we had Lord Vladivostok loom outside Ace of Clubs in this event. Looked like it was going to run straight past it and hit the wall in about the last 100, 150 metres to be outgunned late. Look, I thought that was almost 2 months between runs. I thought the fitness that will get out of that, its second up record is excellent. We've lost Jess Eaton for the ride, but we gained Todd Pannell. Todd Pannell and Michael Hickmont, when they combine, going at about 35% win strike rate. I'm expecting it to roll either to sit outside the lead or just behind the leaders, get a really good run in transit, and expect to see a sharp improvement from last start. I think around that $9 makes a very good each way bet. I'd also be willing to include Hustler War at around $18. Excellent closing sectionals. And I think if we go Lord Vladivostok with Hustler War as a little saver, I think we'll go pretty close to getting a collect out of the event.
Bit of a class rise here. I thought it was a pretty average race last start. Does that concern you at all, Bagman?
Yeah, I thought obviously the Victorians of Dr. Drew and Vacillator obviously have the score on the board. I thought they were probably short enough in the market, and Vacillator I thought mapped a little bit awkward. As betting propositions, I can't really have both of them. Obviously, they're great chances and can definitely take out the race, but value is the name of the game, Scoot, and I think we've got two value runners there.
Any thoughts in here in the studio?
Yeah,
boys?
I wasn't surprised Bagman's looked around the favourites in the market there. I mean, Vacillator could be just a dead set Flemington horse. You know, he's got to travel. I don't know if he's travelled before.
I think Vacillator's won 4 races and they're all Flemington.
Yeah. So that was my immediate thought. Vacillator's over there, you know. So I'm not surprised that Bagman's looked around here.
Yeah, Dr. Drill was okay first up, gets Jamie Carr aboard. I think he's definitely probably the best horse in the race. He's a horse that has a lot of issues though. So, I thought the first up run was okay.
Might be better for 2,000, better at 2,000.
Yeah, exactly. Well. They might be looking for sort of maybe heading to Queensland for him. Yeah, when I sort of looked at this race last night, I was with Bagman. I thought Hustler War, you probably got to have a look at here. Like his closing sort of figures on the punting form data, like his last 2 races, he's nearly run 5 lengths above for his last 200. Like I know they're in slowly run races, but this is a thing that DK loves. Like this horse just finds the line every single start. Like he went through a big purple patch of form last aspiration where he was running first and second all the time. He's just a line finder, and I think at 17 you got to be on.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
So maybe take a wide berth of Vacillator here. The next race is the Group 1 Goodwood, and listeners of the show would have found one that, and I hope you followed up on it, Bagman. Savoxatil came out and won last start after you tipped at the start before. Seems to happen a fair bit, instant celebrity. So even the horses that we're talking about, they're sometimes just knocking the door down. They're horses in form, and if they don't win the start we're tipping them, make sure you follow up and do the races because they're ready to peak, and that's what this is all about. This is a tricky one, the Group 1 Goodwood. There could be a moral, or there could be some queries around the favourite here, and that's the one that they've backed early. We've got the odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now. We've got G-Tra, the heavily backed favourite in early markets, 370 into 310. We got Behemoth, the big boy, 360 to 460. Instant Celebrity, 750 to 650. And Bo Ross at 10 into 9. I think you could have got around the $21 mark before its last start. Win Bo Rosser also. The replay that we're going to call up here is G-Tra in the Everest a couple of starts back. And it was a huge run here. It was buried along the fence. It's got the white baldy face coming from well back in the ruck there. It's getting scrubbed along. It's just starting to peel off the fence. It's got the white cap, the blue with the white sleeves coming onto the outside, out and around one of the Godolphin runners there and just coming in behind Classic Legend. And it was an amazing performance to sort of savage the line and fall into third there. He was in no man's land. Wasn't he, Bagman?
Yes. Yeah, it certainly was. And I think the interesting point is that last 2 times now G-Tra's met Behemoth. G-Tra's had quite the better of Behemoth. I think you're really taking, has the horse come up after its long break? It was a obviously injury-enforced layup. Has the horse came back? They put up around $3.80, $4. The punters have stepped in. I take that as a sign that it's ready to go. Jason Collett coming over to take the ride also, I think is also a very positive sign. I think the value's disappearing quickly, but I think if you snapped up that $3.80, $4 when markets went up, I think you've got a really good bet there.
DK?
Just when I first looked at this race and some stats popped up, Bagman, I noticed Gordon Richards' stats are right down. Have you noticed anything there? He hasn't had many winners this year.
For the season, he's definitely his win strike rate is definitely down, I guess, from previous years. But I guess you're only as good as the horses you had. I mean, the horses he had coming through with Bold Star and G-Tra and it was just a plethora of top-line sprinters. I guess they all can't be racing at once. And, there's been a little bit of a dip in the stable, but they don't call him Group 1 Gordon for nothing. I'm expecting a bounce back hard on Saturday.
There we go.
Nico, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, look, to my eye, they're the two class horses of the race, without a doubt. Geetra and Behemoth. Geetra is probably better at 1,200 metres than Behemoth, but I sort of saw an opportunity here with Behemoth, with Craig Williams aboard from barrier number 6, to potentially sit closer to Geetra than, say, in last year's Goodwood. What do you think of that, Bagman?
Yeah, that's obviously going to be the map is obviously going to be pivotal, and Behemoth can't be giving G-Tray 5-6 lengths. I think with Craig Williams on board, it's interesting that he jumped off Instant Celebrity to get on back on Behemoth. I think that is a positive sign for the Behemoth fans. I think if you can get on the back of G-Tray, it will give it its best chance. But the map will be all important and where they land in running.
I bet after the barrier draw, he was very pleased he made that decision too, because
Insta Celebrity's in a little bit of a spot of bother out there in 11, I think. And I know there's been a little bit of money when markets went up, but I've got to mark it quite a bit longer.
It'll be the J car groupies.
It's just under the conditions of the race, set weights and penalties. G-Char, if it's right, looks definitely to be the one. I did a little bit of homework. G-Char, I've always struggled to pronounce this, but what does G-Char mean? It's a spirit appearing as a horse or a dog that haunts lonely roads.
There we go. How well name's that? Whoever the good those owners who found that. How good.
Oh, absolute corker there. We saw a couple. We looked down the barrel of a couple of lonely roads last week in the bulldozer, and Nico was probably driving home to Mortlake in a couple of them, thinking, "What are we doing here?"
Wednesday night was very much like that for me.
In the horrors
I was. But anyway, great game.
And
the roller coaster of the punt.
Isn't it good?
That's the best.
And I
do anything else.
Bagman's just tweeted out something interesting. After seeing Ellen DeGeneres announce she's quitting this morning, I'm also quitting gambling as it's not a challenge for me anymore.
Big Ellen fan.
You've clocked it, Bagman. Too easy.
Yeah, well, I think if Ellen thinks a sinking show is not a challenge anymore, so why should I bother with gambling anymore? It's not a challenge anymore. I think we can all take a motto from Ellen's life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But the great game, there's plenty of lessons to learn. It's always a bit of a puzzle. So let's see what spanner gets popped up in the works. I think G-Try's a really good bet on Saturday if he's right. But
I got a question for Bagman. I don't know if he's done this race, but the Proud Miss, Rubisaki or Brooklyn Hustle? Who are you leaning with?
Rubisaki for mine. I thought that was a chance. There's a lot of horses in there who I've burnt a lot of money on in the past. I won't be going too hard at that event, Nico.
Just a race, like you said, a lot of horses in there. I imagine the punters who have stuck fat with Brooklyn Hustle, they need to be rewarded sometimes, and Jamie Carr gets aboard there.
Carr, Brooklyn Hustle.
That'll be a great contest, her v Rubisaki, who finally looked like she's getting back to somewhere near her best. So that'll be an interesting race. It's a really good day of racing there at Adelaide. Compared to last week where it was just sort of junk to start the day and then you had the feature. This is a really good card all throughout.
It is, yes. It is some good races.
I thought the ride of Todd Pannell and Cherry Tortoni last week was a cracker too. So it's interesting that Paddy Payne's gone with Todd Pannell again.
Wasn't that just a gift? $2.50 late.
I heard Paddy talk about it after the race, but he said it should have been getting 13 kilos. Second horse should have been getting 13 kilos off it was on level weights or something.
That's probably why Bagman's retired from the punt.
It's been too fat.
It was an absolute beauty. All right, thanks, Bagman. Good luck on the weekend.
Thank you, guys. I'm off to see Matt Damon at the local pub tab now. We're going to have some bet on Yonkers. See you later, guys.
What a Thursday afternoon.
So rude.
Fantastic stuff. If you're having a bet, don't bet with the TAB. Bet with topsport.com.au. They're family owned and operated. They've been in the game for 35 years. Bet with a bookmaker you can trust. Bet with TopSport. They bet the big limits as soon as they go up, so you always are sure to get on. And without them, we couldn't put the streams together.
Yes, have them in your prayers for Thursday night, I'd say. Yes, next week. The Dogs boys are going to take on the Dogs boys again, which good on Tristan for doing that.
So we've got Paddy McKenna and Troy Little in the Lone Wolves too. The second edition of the live stream.
Back at Sandown?
It's back at Sandown. It's the heat. So I'll tell you what, for the Melbourne Cup heats, the guys absolutely blitz, and they blitz again on Melbourne Cup night. So make sure you check that out. We're going to open the live stream registration on Sunday, so check that one out. We'll take a quick break and then we'll talk Flemington. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scone. I've got DK here, the punter's punter, and Nico Noonan. And it's time to talk Flemington. A little bit of rain around for Melbourne, but Flemington's probably one of the most best drying tracks in Australia. They do a fantastic job, all in all. The track managers down in Melbourne. It is a funny, windy, sometimes freezing joint. But let's talk about Flemington Race 1. We've got the odds courtesy of TopSport on the screen now. Lafargue is 310. Rainier is $5.50 into $5. River Views $5.50. For Real Life $6. Deluxe Legend $9. And Mimosas. DK probably likes a mimosa. $10 there. We're going to play a couple of jump outs here, Nico, and you can talk us through them.
Yeah, this is Lafargue. I think we're going to roll with horse number 4. He's here in the O'Brien colours, the Russian Camelot colours there, third. Thought this was a pretty good piece of work. This is the first jump out he has. This was against a few unraced horses from memory. I just like what he starts doing here late. He's just asked for a bit of an effort. This is probably the most crucial part of his work, this last 200 metres, where he really starts to chase this horse out in front of him. He's not asked for a supreme effort there. He just keeps finding the line, and then it's his work through the line. So the camera just waits for the other horses there. And then you see, once it pans back to where he is, he's really taking significant ground off this leader and just
under his own steam too.
Truck through the line there. So I think this is a horse who has a bit of talent of what I've seen. And this is his second piece of work. This was at Werribee. And again, he sat wide in this event, which he's going to do on Saturday. He's drawn in barrier number 10. So I imagine he's got probably a similar scenario to this, where he's outside of horses and having to let down. I thought the way he travelled into this was very nice. He's just sort of doing it on his own steam again. And then just watch the way he lets down this last sort of 200 metres, punters. It's a pretty impressive piece of work. I think he's got a fair bit of ability, this horse. He was scratched from last week, save for this, scratched from the 1200 back to the 1000. That'd be my only knock.
Yeah,
He's
I was just thinking that myself, having a look at him.
He's given a little shake up, but I think the straight will really help him. He's got no bends to get around. He can just stay in clear momentum there from barrier number 10. I loved his action late, where he's really just stretching out nicely there to the line. So I think he's a pretty smart colt in a race that just doesn't have a lot of depth. So I was happy enough to back him at sort of $3. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a bit longer on the day. The 1,000 metres would be my only concern. It's just a little bit too short. If it was 1,100, I'd probably be really betting up. But yeah, he should just get an uninterrupted run from barrier number 10 and just be blending in at the right time, I imagine.
Yeah, a lot to like about those jump outs for sure.
It was, yeah. He just looks like a strong horse. I just don't know, it's 1,000 metres, whether he's 1,000 metre horse, but his talent might get him over the line.
The straight 1,000 metres is like
it's more testing.
It's a different island to say 1,000 metres around Moonee Valley, especially if they sit up and he's within 3 or 4 lengths. I like 100% think he's got the best turn of foot out of any of these horses in this race. Rainier, he looked like a horse who's going to get over further. River Views ran in the Inglis race on debut and ran last. He's been gelded and got the blinkers on since then. Recent trial, he was a bit all out. For Real Life, looked a bit of squib for mine. So there's enough knocks on these other horses. I was happy enough to take the price here and back in his ability on it's a pretty tricky day there at Flemington on Saturday. So this was one of the races I was kind of keen to have a bet in.
Well, I thought one not hopeless there was Vinlago off its first up run at Sale. It sort of trialled up good, jumped out good, and then got the race experience, which will help it in good stead. And it seems big odds to me.
$34.
$34. Like it ran second the other day, didn't it? And that was a sprint home race. They just sprinted up the straight, and Billy Egan gave the leader a really soft time. So I think the Prebble going on. One for your exotics. Or
$7.50 the place is juicy.
I think, with the race experience, will hold it in really good stead.
Any concern Fred on top?
No, I think Fred's a very capable jockey when he gets the right opportunities. He tends to ride well for Danny O'Brien. It's a stable that gives him a few opportunities, especially in this off-season sort of time, and he's rewarded them before. So, like I said, from barrier 10, I think he's just sort of in the running line there, 3 wide, peels out, and then hopefully...
And it's a depleted field of jocks. I mean, you've got Zara and a couple of others there, and it's
Cars over in Adelaide.
Yeah, then it's...
You got Zara, then I'd say Benny Allen. On recent form, he's probably the next best rider at the meeting.
Depleted stocks. If they're going to ride a winner, it's... Get opportunities these days.
100%. Yeah, all the good jockeys are gone. Zara's the seat 1A for sure in terms of the rankings, and the rest are pretty even. So
he'll be hungry. He'll normally D Oliver or D Lane will be on this thing, and he's getting the gig.
The next race we're going to talk about is race 9. As we said, we'd bookend it. We've got odds courtesy of topsport.com.au. The York Trophy benchmark 78. We love picking off these week races. Ocean Miss $9.50 into $4.80. Big Move. Dirty Deeds $5. Sanford Brizio $5.50. Prince of Alina $6.50. Mr. Tiplar $8. Dazzling Damsel $9. And we're going to get the last 400 of Dirty Deeds up on the screen here.
Yeah, he's a dirty horse, Dirty Deeds. He's definitely not one that the punters really love steaming into, but Well, they do. They just haven't really got the collect on him recently. Look, his last start, I think he should have won at Sandown. He was held up at a crucial part of the race. He's just kind of working through his momentum here. D-Moore's at him, and then Spring Choice kind of puts him back in the pocket. The horse to his outside in the pink cap, and Approach the Discreet kind of rolls out. So he's just halted for momentum there. Then he gets back on the back of Spring Choice, and he hits the line real strong. Like, he's the fastest last 200 metres of the race. His last 200 metres on the all benchmark punting form data, 5.5 lengths above. Like, look at him charge the line there. I think he should have won. He's now gets the blinkers going on and gets Damien Thornton on, which I think would be a big positive for his horse.
Do you think, DK?
He's run second his last 3 starts, so I think they're definitely thinking the blinkers could improve him. I think at Bendigo, I think he did try. He just got nutted on the line by a better horse in Reckoning, who's since won. So the blinkers go on here. Thornton aboard. He's well weighted. He's just going to need luck from barrier number 1, DK's favourite draw. But I think if Thornton can find the gaps, he's a hungry jockey. He's a jockey that can find these sort of runs and push these horses over the line. So I think if he finds the gaps from 1, he should be winning with the blinkers on.
You know what I think? There's a little pearl with D. Thornton. D. Thornton's a very good rider on horses with blinkers first time. Okay, he's effective. Rousseau, he was on Rousseau, wasn't he, last weekend? Open Minded's another one that comes to mind. I think he's just a jockey.
Skyman.
Yeah, Skyman. So he's an effective rider on horses with blinkers first time.
He's very aggressive and he gets a lot out of them. Yeah. He's always up at their neck, really pushing them out. So I think the blinkers on, it could really just switch this horse on. He's always been a horse that has a lot of ability. He's knocking on the door for a win. Just barrier 1 is just a little ick there. If he had a drew sort of 5 or 6, I'd be really happy to take the price, but I think $6 is a reasonable bet.
Harder Poussin's still in the back of your front of your mind there.
Wasn't he something licked?
Jay Allen, he copped 20 meetings trying to get out.
You can't say he wasn't trying. He was trying his hardest.
That's what happens when you get buried down there. Anyway.
Didn't have to bring that one up.
Sorry, just
bit of fresh hell there.
You're a bit sensitive about barrier 1.
Just trying to trigger each other here. Fantastic stuff. All right, I think we might as well talk about the Andrew Ramsden there.
The winning you're in.
Yeah, winning your in race. And I think BZ tweeted it out the other day. No more whinging from the trainers. This is your option. And it's a 10-horse field here to the winning your in race, and there's 400k on the table. So it looks like a bit of an afterthought for a couple of these. Miami Bound, Realm of Flowers coming through the Sydney Cup. I was all over Miami Bound, and it was a huge run. She was in no man's land.
It's very interesting that, because you got the 2 horses off the what I call excuse run in the Sydney Cup.
Yeah,
that didn't get much hope. Realm of Flowers and Miami Bound up against Persan and the
Grand Promenade.
You got the three pronged attack from the best 2,000 metre plus stable in Australia.
Yeah, how about them throwing in Through Irish Eyes? He's got the 2,800 metre lead up there at the St Ledger. So yeah, look, I think it's a pretty disappointing field, to be honest. For a race that's a golden ticket into the Melbourne Cup. Like, I know Persan ran 5th in the Melbourne Cup last year, but it was a race where the spot he was in, he was highly advantaged. The back markers just had no chance. So, imagine if any of these horses are getting a start in the Cup next year, they're all 50s. So, I don't know. When you compare this race to, say, 2 years ago when we had Surprise Baby, Steel Prince, who were the 2 headline acts.
Targeted it. They knew.
Then last year, like, Ocean X won it. She's done nothing since. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's working, to be honest. The field it's attractive.
I asked Neil Wilson about BZ after the last. Asked Neil Wilson, we'll keep looking at it. We'll keep looking at it. So whether they can spice it up a bit more.
Unless next year it attracts a better field than this, it shouldn't be a golden ticket race into the Cup.
Yep, good point.
There's so much fat. There's I think TopSport 124% on the board, and I couldn't.
Well, no one's got any idea.
No.
That SP from Persan's, like, that's a great. It's $1.55 last start up against the 2 from the Sydney Cup,
and it's completely out of his profile. Like, he hasn't run a bad race for Mar Eustace at all.
Yeah,
like, not one bad race, and now he comes into the grand final. It's his worst race of probably his recent sort of career. Yeah. Gee, it is a grey up. It is a real grey up, this race. I thought Constantinople wasn't the worst.
Yeah, at the price.
It's good, because someone in the chat room at the Bull said, what do you think of Constantinople and big odds?
It had no form to start before. You couldn't back it off its last start.
His message after the race,
if this is its target...
Yeah. They might have got it back.
Holland on. He was potent at the Bull. He was just taking the races by the scruff of the neck down there. I wouldn't be surprised if they send this horse to the front or something like that, because target race, they really need to get something out of him, because he was favourite for the Melbourne Cup.
That's right.
When he first came out.
Yeah,
he should have won the Caulfield Cup. So there's going to be intent of plenty here. Maybe it's 60s, and if they go straight to the front, you could have something on. But tricky race.
Yeah, well, if it's too hard now, the best thing to do is get Nico Noonan's Mounting Yard Mail. So in the last 3 to 5 minutes of every race for the Metros on Wednesdays and Saturdays, he'll be out there at Flemington on Saturday. And he'll give you that oversight too. He blends in his punting form stuff with what he sees in his jump outs and in the yard. So he's got all bases covered for $11 a meeting. It is an absolute cracking product there. And we saw how
we got a first
hand view of it in the bulldozer.
Got down the bull, particularly late on that
last couple of days.
day. Especially, it was Adelaide Ace. I remember that was Adelaide Ace.
Wasn't that a sick result?
That was a sick result. The cup and then the last.
Yeah.
But I liked one. I had a horn for the last, and Nico comes on and said, "Oh, it's the one from the yard as well." It just gives you extra confidence to go again. That's the sort of thing what we did.
There was a couple of winners too at 20-1. I think on that middle day, that Lummy thing.
That's definitely the way to play it if you're looking to get involved. If I'm sort of, putting a horse on top and things like that, and you've already done your form and your assessments and you like it, I think you can definitely look to maybe have a bigger bet. Or if I'm saying, it's like fighting Harada when I'd seen him the 2 starts prior.
Yeah, exactly. That was such good insight.
And then on the Thursday, because I was just looking to go in there and go, we're going to launch here again. Yeah. That was my thought process going in. And then once I saw him in the yard, I was thinking, so that's probably the way to play it. Do your own stuff and then overlay it. Yeah, for sure.
The other key feature with punting form is their black book. So you can put notes against all horses to stay for their lifetime or against a run. So make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. Up next, we're going to talk to Walt and we're going to talk Scone Cup. It's their feature meeting on the Friday, and they haven't got 2 race days this year.
I'll have to find out. Don't
know what's going on here. So you have to do Scone on Friday and then Rosie Hill on Saturday. PVL has given them a haircut. We'll talk Scone Cup next. Welcome back to Bet Doctor. Behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got DK, the punter's punter, Nico Noonan in studio. And poor old Walt has been banished back to his Gold Coast cupboard. How are you, Walt?
He's ever through all
I've been banished to 25 degrees and sunny conditions. Oh, it's just terrible up here. I want to neck myself. What's happening?
It's a cracking Scone Cup meeting. But what's happened here? Usually they get 2 days, and it's Rose Hill on Saturday, and this is a Friday-only meeting. What's doing?
Am I allowed to talk about this? Let's think about it. Let's just say the president of the Scone Club is no longer the president of the Scone Club, and that's I don't know if it's got anything to do with it. Anyway, there's lots of rumours, but it's been compressed to 1 day, and it is what it is. And I'm trying to work out why when I pick the races, there's 6 and 7 runners and 2 chances. You pick the races, there's 27 mares with 35 chances, and it took me 3 hours to do 2 races. Thank you, Nick.
Oh, you picked the races.
Well, I thought they were good races. I thought they're the races.
I was going to have a go at him about that myself. That was my first point of the call. I said there's maidens, there's class 1s, class 2s, and he's going to pick the hardest races to do the 4. What's going on?
Oh, you got the shits as well. Well, I thought we'd make Walt work a little bit harder. Last week he got it easy. He had a couple of abandonments. There was a couple of washouts, so he only did half the work last week.
That was tough. Just 17 hours live. It was great.
A little bit of a hat tip. Walter found Enchanted Heart. It was a tricky one in the takeover target. He said Gosford would be underwater. The 1,200 metre race, it raced like it was 1,400, and the market told the story 440 into 290. So make sure you're writing down Walt's tip. He is almost a genius.
Almost. For red air, I'm untouchable.
Hopefully you are untouchable because you're in a bit of hot water at the moment. But good segue into the dark jewel. Odds courtesy of topsport.com.au up on the screen now. More Profits has been the one they've backed early, 550 into 440. Rock O'Clock, 550 into 480. Missile Mantra, $7. Asiago, $9. Generals, $9.50, and double digits the rest. And Walt has gone hunting well outside the market here. DK, you look. Yeah, what are you going to say?
I was just going to say Ty's doing a really good job because Tim Clark's on the favourite here. I just saw that's the first thing I noticed in the race.
You should get one of those buttons, mate. They go no, yes, or Ty's doing a good job. Ty's doing a good job. Ty's, and then he wouldn't have to keep repeating it over and over again.
He might need a new joke repertoire, but in his mind, it's hilarious. He's losing it in here. But let's have a look at the replay of She Shall Fly. And
She Shall Fly was beaten very narrowly in a 1,400 metre Group 2 set weights where it met Missile Mantra set weight. So they both carried 55. This time, 5 kilos better. If you watched the 2 rides this horse has copped its first 2 runs back, you'd feel very sorry for the horse. Gets a rider change tomorrow, gets gate 1. There's not a huge amount of speed, and I think this horse can be ridden much closer. It is a wide go because I think the query is a strong 1,400 for this horse. But that gate one and back to this sort of grade, 54 kilos, $34, I think it's worth a shot at the title compared to others like More Profits, who maybe has more upside than She Shall Fly, but at the moment gets in this weight really, really poorly at the weights meeting She Shall Fly set weights, and you're getting 440 as opposed to $34. So that's my thinking. I think Missile Mantra is the quality, but never carried 59 in a race before, let alone tried to try and beat this level of field. So having a shot at the title with She Shall Fly.
DK, sounds like you spent a bit of time on this race, given your angst.
No, I just saw Missile Mantra, who we've known down here, Nico. She's been flying down here. Was one on the way out, then one on the way back in. That's always learnt that off Mark Reed. That's a great sign. Out well, back well. So that's what I thought. And then I'd like to see Walt lining up his out wide selection through Missile Mantra, because it looked like well,
I think it's the one to go. Like, I can't knock it at $8 or $9 or whatever it is. I'd rather knock Rock O'Clock and More Profits leading the way, because I don't think they've got the quality of Missile Mantra, and She Shall Fly is probably a peg below, but gets the 5 kilos. So that was my line of thinking.
You're getting $9, the juicy slot there. We love
Barrier
them.
one.
Yeah, right there. He said like barrier one, like it was a bonus. Like and it's drawn barrier one.
Mate, it's Harold Park.
I tell you what, if they're $34, it's all right. That's it.
The track should dry out too there. It should be a 4 by Friday from what I'm hearing too, so it should be a perfect surface.
Yeah, it's a good find, isn't it? Like, you look back through her form last preparation. I was just watching that replay then. She comfortably beat Missile Mantra when they were in the Rose of Kingston there, and Sierra Sue got up the fence in one of the great rides by Michael Walker. She was knocking on the door all of last preparation to get the win. That was her first preparation for Kevin Corstens as well, who does a very good job with his stable down there at Balnarring. So
he's not leaving the horse here if it's going no good. Like, he just doesn't leave it up for a Scone Dark Jewel if it's going no good, beating 6 last start. It was just a horror fest from start to finish last start. And he's like, I think it beat Savatiano home that day too. What price did he? Why are you laughing? There's no one in that room that can make you laugh, so why are you laughing?
Oh, who are you looking at? You're starting to look over to the right. You're meant to be looking front and centre at us.
I got a mirror over there. Is that all right? What's happening?
Well, I don't know. That might explain the light and how it's sort of bouncing off that.
Oh, there it is.
The secret source. And I don't know about the yellow on you, Walter. Being a fellow redhead, I don't know if yellow's our colour.
Average Joe's. I've just been playing dodgeball all morning.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me after bunking in with you all of last week. It's a real insight into the beautiful mind.
How's the
John
movie, Walter? Just getting around the movies there. What was that, Tuesday night?
Tuesday night. You go
Bob Odenkirk or whatever, and they make, what's the movie? What's the movie? I can't think of it anyway. It was like the old mate next door version of John Wick or something. Like, surely come up with a decent idea, you clowns. Put DK in a feature or something.
We are here to preview the races. Who knows? If you've just joined us, you could be watching anything here. But it's Scone Cup we're talking about next. Waltz found She Shall Fly, $34 and $9 the slot at TopSport. So nice little roughie there, and the boys are starting to clue onto that. So Scone Cup, odds courtesy TopSport on the screen now. We've got 2 joint favourites here. We've got Lure Me In and Royal Celebration at $6. Pandano's been the one that's been back, $12 into 8. Face-Off's $9. Bottega, 15 to 12. Mr. Dependable, $12. And he's gone hunting out wide again, Johnny. And the replay that we're going to pop up here.
My $23 gone. Someone's already sniped it. I think the Crow tipped it last night, the maggot.
Oh, he's up and about. We might have to swab, see what's in his cereal this morning.
No, that helped you.
That helped you.
Hey, you got me on it. I was on it this week. Went and grabbed it at the supermarket. Yeah, no, pretty strong.
Have you got the sugar-free?
Oh, natural sweetener. Is that the same thing? Natural sweetener?
Long term, I don't think. Look at what it's done to Walt's mind. Anyway, the replay that we're going to call up here, we've got to get this show on the road. We've got Order again. He's had 2 trials, and here's his latest one in the red tartan. He was absolutely smoking before we started playing the replay here. He's about third back defence.
So this is this dirty poly track, right? And the reason why I love it, it's very hard to run on these tracks. And any horse that sort of run on under their own steam, they're doing better than what they seem. And they don't go much better than this, I don't think.
Yeah, he sort of has to. He puts the left blinker down and comes
Pollett's definitely not on it.
Out at nearly right angles there, and as you can see, there's a few horses hard ridden, and he's just absolutely smoking the pipe. And What's the price now, Walt? At TopSport, it's just been knocked off a little bit, 21 into $18. What price did you take now that you're allowed to bet?
No, not betting yet. I'm not that sort of person. I'm not an early sniper. If I've done that many times, the prices tend to tumble. It's not worth the battle. But you want to know my thinking here? It's great.
Yeah, go on.
First up, so this horse, it won on a heavy 8 first up last time. It wasn't an 8. It was a bollocks rating. It was closer to a 4. So taking a line through that, it's a 1550 metre race there at Kensington where it's ripped away from him, slow tempo, come from back in the field, smashed him. This horse was just like crying out for a rider for the last 2 preparations. They've stuck with the same fella. Abdullah goes on this time, perfect draw, and I think that the 1600 Scone is not a hard 1600. This horse got form out to 2000 anyway. Flies fresh, flies wet, dry, whatever you want. And it's a very even race, but I'm looking for form away from looks like Elvis. Who's your favourites?
Yeah, it was heavily back last start, wasn't it? Looks like
Lure
Elvis.
Me In, Royal Celebration favourites, Face Dos, I can't have it in a million years. I just think it's a very average race. This Pandano's got enormous form, but it's sort of 28 days between runs and off a couple of grand finals, so you think it would be a little bit vulnerable. This horse will have fresh legs, soft run, exposed, perfect horse for Scone, and I think, I'm going to say $18 is well over the odds.
Yeah, Lure Me In was a horse I had a look at on one of our review podcasts we did on the racing show, and I thought he's probably a horse to follow out of that race. And gee, they haven't missed him here at sort of $6. I thought he might be sort of going around at 12s or 13s.
That's it. If he's $18, he's probably the horse you want, and because he's got a similar pattern, sort of get back, want to find. I don't think Rachel King's in the form she was probably in a few months ago, maybe lacking a bit of confidence too. So you want your riders to be well and truly up and about to be getting home horses like Lure Me In that are a little bit shy of the winning post at times.
How is B. Abdullah going?
I thought he was going good yesterday on Fast Coney until his horse absolutely spat the bit with 50 to go and refused to win. But I think he's okay. I think that that winner over the Carnival got him back into the right frame of mind, and he's chipping away. Nice. He's definitely a stand. There's not many riders here, like most of them are up in Brisbane.
Very good. See, there's a 1,000-metre maiden on the card up there, Johnny.
I tell you, there's a
very interesting runner in that race.
There's a little one I might mention in race 1 on the card. I think Char Reddy will go close. They're primed back to his home track, 1,300 perfect. The favourites 1,000 to 1,300, and the second, I thought the danger was Hockey. I thought the market was completely wrong there. The two from 7 in race 1 to get us off and running.
It's
Who's
all into
your
the
1,000-metre horse?
Scone race 1
the horse all coming all the way from Benalla. The Finch.
The Flying Finch.
Finch.
Russell Osborne.
We're good first up. It's got talent, that horse.
Hope it's got gate 1.
No,
gate 5. That's sickening. Yeah, I haven't done that race.
We might just extend the show by another half hour and just sit here and
right?
preview the Scone card. But what the boys are talking about is Scone race 1, number 2, Char Reddy. Walt's found that one, and DK's just popped his head out and said Scone race 2, number 2, Flying Finch is a horse to bear close attention to from Benalla, going all the way up to Scone there. Walter, we might get you to stick around for the TopSport big bet section. We'll fly through this one. We'll just get the big bets on the screen and I'll read them out. Flemington race 7, number 4, Rathlin 1,000 at $7.50. Any thoughts, boys, Danny?
Well, it's gone off. It's into $5 now, so there's definitely a train of thought that he's going to be peaking there on Saturday.
And then race 9, number 10, Ocean Miss. There was 1,000 at $7.50, so that horse was $9.50 into $4.80, and Nico likes Dirty Deeds in that race. A couple for you here, Walt. Race 2, number 4, Headliner at Rose Hill. Not sure if you looked at it. 1,000 at $7.50 is one of the bets there. I'll go through a couple of them. Race 5, number 7, Supremo, 1,000 at $21. And then the other big bet there was race 7, number 5, Embracer, 1,500 at $4.60. Any of those horses ring a bell for you? Headliner, Supremo, Embracer?
Embracer went like a jet the other day at Hawkesbury, but be a little bit careful because that was the race where they thought that 5-6 leaders and they all sort of sat up, and even though it sat 3 wide, they walked, and it sort of only had to sprint up a couple of furlongs, which is its go. So I'd be a little bit wary of Embracer. And Headline is an interesting one. 91 days first up, Chris Waller, Kathy O'Hara on. So an interesting horse there, but it's sort of a get back run-on type drawn wide at Rose Hill at the 1100, which is possibly the worst start in Australia to be a get-back drawn wide horse.
And then the other one is Morpheville Race 8, number 2, G-Tra 3000 at 350, and we mentioned that in the other
Jay Collette
other segment.
heading over there.
Yeah,
Is he riding it?
yeah, yep.
Yeah, he's gone over
He's
there.
stuck with it.
How's the fence? How's the fence at Morpheville, all right?
It's been hot recently.
Yeah,
It's been the place to be.
He's home.
G-Tra, Walter, it's a spirit appearing as a horse or dog that haunts lonely roads. Be your cupboard horse, G-Tra, wouldn't it? Based
I was
off
out
that
there
little...
walking in the lightning storm last night, like praying, had my arms up, had the antenna holding it up, come at me. I was looking for something.
Oh, fantastic stuff. All right, we might wrap it up there, but thanks a lot. Good luck this weekend, and with everything that's going on in your life, we are cheering you as hard as we can.
Plenty going on. Cheers.
On your Walt.
Thanks, Walt. Fantastic stuff, Walt. It's been a cracking show, big show.
Big show. Yeah, just a little happy birthday to one of the Little Birdie family.
Okay.
Snowman
Oh yeah.
in Bilney. There he is.
Yeah, right.
Happy
Snowy's.
birthday today up at Pops. Happy birthday, Snowman.
Yeah, and I think another friend of the show, Hoffy. I think it's Hoffy's birthday this Saturday. So pray for us. Pray for us all there. It's gonna. I think I'm going, and it's who knows what's going to happen there. Couple of interesting characters going to be along there. But Nico, your stuff for Flemington this week is available in the Little Birdie shop. DK out wide. DK will be back up and happening.
I'll be up and happening. Database is back in order.
Got the scratching during the week.
about that
Swollen face.
Swollen face. And the weight, they got home their last furlong in 14 or something. They're up and down 10, 2 links, but 10 horses. I'm tipping it would have won. Even worse. But anyway, we got some good meetings. I think we've got Warwick Nabil, Casterton, Echuca.
Speaking of find the fence, Warwick Nabil.
Yeah. So no, I think we're definitely betting tomorrow. Geelong, there's one there. So yep, stay tuned, punters.
DK out wide there, but that's enough for us today. Make sure you follow at BetDoctorTV on Twitter, BetDoctor on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on SoundCloud and Little Birdie TV on YouTube. We're absolutely everywhere, and it's going to be Lone Wolves Dogs number 2 next Thursday night. So make sure you check out Sunday. The Little Birdie homepage is there, or jump on our Twitter pages because we'll have the registration. And Troy Little and Paddy McKenna are going to do their best to fire in a few rockets at TopSport. So it's going to be a big week next week on the Quick Backup. See you guys.